Hello everyone, it's me, Miss Nicole, or Nicole, whichever you prefer to call me. Woo, and I am shaking the table. And welcome back to another edition of First Page Fridays. This one is April, so we're going to be exploring our American Heritage Month. And we are going to be doing 3 different books. And if this is your first time here, what I do is I read you the description of the book, and then I'll also read the first page of the book. If the first page goes on to this, the paragraphs goes on to the second one, then we will just continue on. So let's see. With this one, let's start off with The Travelers Along the Way, a Robin Hood remix. So if you're interested in a classic tale where someone turns it on the head and kind of changes it a little bit, this might be interesting to you. This one is by Amana May Safi. Jerusalem, 1192. The Third Crusade rages on. Rahman al-Hud loyally followed her elder sister Zina into the war over the Holy Land. But now that the Pharyngid invaders have gotten reinforcements from Richard the Lionheart, all she wants to do is get herself and her sister home alive. But Zina is a soldier of honor at heart, refuses to give up the fight while Jerusalem remains in danger of falling back into the hands of the false Queen Isabella. And so Rama has no choice but take on one final mission with her sister. On their journey to Jerusalem, Rama and Zina come across a motley collection of fellow travelers, including a kind-hearted Mongolian warrior, an eccentric Andalusian scientist, and a frustratingly handsome spy with a connection to the Rama's childhood, and an unfortunate English chaplain abandoned behind the enemy lines. The teens all find solace, purpose, and camaraderie, as well as a healthy bit of mischief in one another's company. But their travels soon bring them into the orbit of the Queen Isabella herself, whose plans to re-seize power in Jerusalem will only guarantee further war and strife in the Holy Land for years to come. And so it falls to the merry band of misfits to use every scrap of cunning and wit, and not a small amount of thievery, to foil the usurper queen, and perhaps finally restore peace to the land. So this does have like a little note to the reader, which I'm going to skip, but if you check this out, you can read it yourself. So, A Rivalry of Kings. In the stories of the old days, there was once a king, but not a king, but a thief. But perhaps we were getting behind ourselves. We must start a little after that. We must start in the tent. Yusuf watched the man across from him, the man who watched him back. It was a long, tense silence. Then a man abruptly turned his attention to the translator. The translator began speaking, taking what Yusuf had said and speaking the words as they might be understood in another man's tongue. Yusuf watched the interaction attentively. Here, before Yusuf, was his enemy. He smiled. He was an old man now. He had campaigned for many long years, and he knew the way that he knew many things, that his body would fail him soon. Yusuf was dying, but the man across from him did not need to know this. So that was the first page of this book, which is Travelers Along the Way. The next one we're going to read is the next new Syrian Girl by Reem Sukaria. So, Khadija Samai is a Syrian-American high school senior raised on boxing and football. Saddled with a massive ego and a fierce mother to test it, she dreams of escaping her sheltered life to travel the world with her best friend. Lina Tahir is a Syrian refugee with demons in her past, doing her best to adjust the wildly unfamiliar society of a suburban Detroit high school. When their worlds collide, the results are catastrophic. To Khadija, Lina embodies the tame, dutiful Syrian ideal she long rebelled against. And to Lina, Khadija is the strong-willed, closed-off American who makes her doubt her place in the world. But as Khadija digs up Lina's past, the carefully woven tapestry begins to unravel, and a heart-wrenching secret is uncovered. As the girls secretly race to uncover the painful truth, the friendship slowly blooms as they realize they have more in common than expected. What they find takes them on a journey all the way to Jordan, forcing them to reckon with what they know about themselves and each other. The new Syrian Girl is a poignant and timely blend of guilt, nostalgia, devotion, and hijabis. Chapter 1, Khadijah. January 2018. I pounced towards the man holding the brown black targets. Each explosive jab, hook, and uppercut fires my hostility at the padded mats, whittling down until there are scraps of neoprene and leather. Lightning hands, nimble feet, stretched breaths. Every movement unleashes a pent-up emotion. My heart beats against my chest in a wild rhythm, my spirit uncaged from arguments with my mother and microaggressions with strangers. "You're good," the trainer says, ending the session and resting his strong hands on my sides. At his sides, my eyes trail to the past. "Take a look in the mirror. Your scarf is coming loose." Reflexively, my hand shot up to my slipping headscarf, and I stuffed my light brown bangs back in. Blood rushes to my cheeks from exertion. I train beyond my physical limits because wearing a scarf doesn't restrict me. It makes me train that much harder. So that is the first page of the next new Syrian Girl. Okay, and lastly, I want to share this one by Tara Mafi, and I think I've shared books by her before. She's one of the people I really like. She writes kind of sometimes fantasy, dystopian type of things, sometimes realistic fiction. So I would highly recommend to check her out. So this one's called An Emotion of Great Delight, a novel. From best-selling author and National Book Award nominated Tara Mafi comes a stunning novel of love and loneliness, navigating the hyphen of dual identity and killing your right to joy, even when you're trapped in the amber of sorrow. In 2003, several months since the U.S. officially declared war on Iraq, and the American political world has evolved. Tensions are high, hate crimes are on the rise, FBI agents are infiltrating local mosques, and the Muslim community is harassed and targeted more than ever. Shadi, who wears a hijab, keeps her head down. She's too busy drowning in her own troubles to find time to deal with bigots. Shadi is a name for joy, but she's haunted by sorrow. Her brother is dead, her father is dying, her mother is falling apart, and her best friend has mysteriously dropped out of her life. And then, of course, there was no small matter of her heart. It's broken. Shadi tries to navigate a crumbling world of soldiering on through saying nothing. She devours her own pain each day, retreating farther and farther inside herself until finally one day, everything changes. She explodes. An Emotion of Great Delight is a searing look at the world of a single Muslim family in the wake of 9/11. It's about a child of immigrants forging a blurry identity, falling in love and finding hope in the midst of a modern world. December 2003. 1. The sunlight was heavy today, fingers of heat forming sweaty hands that braced my face, daring me to flinch. I was stoned, still as I stared up into the eye of an unblinking sun, hoping to be blinded. I loved it, loved the blistering heat, loved the way it seared my lips. I felt good to be touched. It was a perfect summer day, out of the place in fall. The stagnant heat disturbed only my brief fragrant breeze I couldn't source. A dog barked, I pitied it. Airplanes droned overhead and I envied them. Cars rushed by and I heard only their engines, filthy, muddy, metal bodies leaving their excrement behind. And yet, I took a deep breath and held it. In the smell of diesel, my lungs on my tongue. It tasted like memory, of movement, of promise to go somewhere. I released the breath, anywhere. I was going nowhere. And that is the first page of this one, An Emotion of Great Delight. Again, we read Travelers Along the Way, so if you're more into something fantasy, taking place in the past, there you go. Then a next new Syrian Girl, which is more of a contemporary fiction, as well as The Emotion of Great Delight, which again, it takes place right after 9/11. So depending on how old you are, you may consider this a historical fiction, which is will kind of make me feel a little bit old, so please don't, not yet. Anyway, but that's all I have to share with you. I'm going to leave the descriptions of these in the box, so if you're interested in them, you can link to it. But thank you, and I'll see you at some other point.